Welcome to the
My name is Kamilah Jones, but my artist name is Hard Decora. I'm based in Chicago, but I was born in New York, grew up in Jersey City until about high school, and then at high school moved to Illinois with my family. A lot of my family members are from Chicago anyway, so moving back to Illinois kind of just made sense for them and everything. I'm trying to think. And then as far as my artistry goes, I would say I'm like an illustration brand where I do comics, apparel, zines, and community building, having to do with alternative fashion and Japanese alternative fashion, kind of like inspired by those two areas. And I've been doing that since 2016, I would say. And then like starting to like wear J fashion like 2014, but I feel like I didn't start really like having my first tables at anime conventions and stuff until like 2016 and things. Yeah, I do with apparel. I had my illustrations printed onto t-shirts and different things like that. And then I would sell at anime conventions and their fashion shows, and then like some J fashion events. I have a comic, and that's also inspired by alternative fashion culture. And so I'll show it. I'll go to Zine Fest and Indie Comic Book Fest with those items. Most recently, I tabled at Zine Mercado and Grand Rapids Zine Fest. And then in this September, I'll be at Milk, which will be Milwaukee Independent Literature and Comics. Yeah, so doing a lot of that stuff. And then with the community building, I host two Discords. One of them is for a specific style called Decora. And then one of the Discords is for Chicago meetups for alternative J fashion peeps and all that. It's called Kawaii Rebels Club.
And you host that one?
Yeah, I host that one. Yeah.
Bouncing off of that, in your own terms, how do you describe your style and especially the community behind it?
Wow, okay. So I feel like my style and like the community, it's kind of like two different things because like I'm inspired by the community and everything like that, but I'm also really inspired by my own experiences and my cultural identity. So I try to like blend those two together whenever I can and more go off of what I'm attracted to as far as style rather than looking so heavily at like what's the trend, how's everybody wearing, decora or something like that. Like I try to like make it my own. So I would start with the J fashion community and specifically the decora fashion style, which is a style where you wear these different patterns, colors, all sorts of accessories. It's over the top. There's a lot of nostalgia to it, bringing things, maybe like characters and things that are sometimes associated with childhood, but saying that like we don't need to keep those things in childhood as adults. We can still enjoy some of these things, like, Tamagotchi's having a big comeback right now, Animal Crossing and Care Bears and My Little Pony and like Hello Kitty and the Sanrio characters are a lot involved. So kind of bringing those things in, wearing a lot of colorful accessories. Also with Decora, it's very easy to make things your own, and that is why I chose that style specifically to take so much from. Because if you are interested in frogs, you can make your whole outfit about frogs, and that would still be within the style. So there's a lot of like theming and customizing that isn't as easy to do in other fashion styles. If you want to do something that's not colorful at all, like a dark decora, Sometimes we call it Darkora or something like that. You could still do that. You could take scene elements. So I just really love that style for that. And so I tend to wear that style. I would go to events, and then now I host my own events, which is awesome, and kind of create a space for general J fashion and alternative fashion to people to meet up without judgment of like, you need to be wearing this style this way,
Mm.
or like, it's weird that you're wearing these clothes, or like, it's just a lot of, acceptance and like helping each other reach the style goals that they want to reach, or even just talking about anime and video games and just other things that we're interested in. Just finding other friends. It's like a social club sort of thing too. Yeah.
That sounds very cool and very welcoming. I like
Yeah.
the sound of it. You do a
Hmm.
little bit of everything and you dabble in a whole bunch of mediums, like your blog, your webcomic, like you mentioned, you're also
Yeah.
a vendor. How do you find yourself managing and balancing everything?
Kind of a lot.
Are you a one-person team?
Yeah, I'm just one
Okay.
person. Yeah,
Wow,
just
okay.
one person. Let me think about that. Well, I'm one person, but I do have my partner, my husband. He comes to like now he comes to a lot more shows with me and stuff. It used to be like I would do some things by myself and things like that, but we're talking about trying to create some sort of role for him, like logistics, chief logistics officer, which basically means he puts up the table and everything when I go to a show. If I need to walk off somewhere to use the bathroom, get something to drink or something, he's there to man the table. Sometimes he will give like notes on like, oh, we need more business cards. We need more of this thing. You're running out of comics or this thing. And so it's kind of like extra notes for me to like, okay, I need to order more comics, I need to do this, and just like getting me from A to B and things like that. So it kind of like helps with that. And then the other thing that helps me a lot is that I'm doing something within the J fashion community, and we're very connected and try to like help each other with things. So, for example, by me connecting with the local Lolita community and everything, I got in touch with Lolita Collective, which is a now they have a physical location. They didn't used to have a physical
Oh,
location, but
wow.
they have a physical location, and it's a lot of different like kawaii fashion vendors and things that are independent, both independent and like ones that are from Japan, which I would still say are like indie too, but kind of like Western and international. Yes, Western and international vendors, and you can have send your stuff there, and they go to some conventions with your things. And sometimes they'll also have your stuff at the store and things. That's like a really good avenue. Or if for like collaborations, there's just a lot of collaborative working. If I'm doing the Discord and somebody asks in the Discord like, "Hey, where can I post this resource?" And someone's like, "Oh, you could post it in this thing." And I'm just like, "Yay, that means I didn't have to say it." Like, but I am in the process of like looking for mods for the Discord because now there's like 500 people in that Discord. And so I'm like, okay, I think responsibly I should have some more help looking after the interactions and everything within the Discord. But yeah, they're really like at least my Discord is really easygoing. There's not really any like arguments or anything that really happen in there. I switch off from things. There's seasons. Sometimes I'll stop doing a product for a while so then I can focus on a different art project I want to do.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'll hold off on doing shows while I'm still like making new things or exploring different avenues. Um, Things that I want to submit to because I've built good relationships and that they know that I'm like trustworthy and will follow through or whatever. I can ask for extensions on things. Um, and then, yeah, but I definitely feel like being a part of a community really helps. Also, like, yeah, just having like either a partner or a dedicated friend too that like kind of wants to like there were some people that were like also artists that were just like I don't know, yeah, want to like share resources or do things together. So I don't do the meetups every month. I do them once a season, and so that kind of makes it so that there's not too much
So it's
to
like
do
a
in between.
self-regulation thing. Like you're very
Yeah,
on yourself. Okay.
right, right. Yeah. So it's very much like, okay, turning this off while this thing is on. Okay,
Mhm.
now I'm feeling more inspired to go in this direction. All right, we're gonna bring this direction down and then this direction up. So it's kind of like thinking about things seasonally is really helpful. And then yeah, trying to get community help when you can.
You sound very organized. Kudos.
Oh,
Kudos.
people say that, but I'm just like, nah, I could get on a higher level. I know I could be more organized. Yeah, there's definitely things that slip through the cracks. But
Mm.
yeah, not everything's so like this is a hard deadline. Like, yeah, yeah.
Where do you see Hard Decora as a brand down the line?
Okay. I see it as like comics, zines, stationery, still alternative fashion inspired and oriented, but I see myself going more in that area and not so much apparel
Mm.
and accessories, like those sorts of items. And not to say I'll never make a t-shirt or something again, but I definitely feel like I went to school and thought of comic ideas, and I'm just like, I really wanted to do comics, but I felt like I drew all the characters that I have for this comic on shirts and stuff first, and like people responded to the apparel, so I kind of was just like, oh, I'm gonna make more apparel. People are responding to this. And then now I'm just like, no, I still really want to do this comic. So I think I need to just like pivot my direction more towards story. And yeah, so I think I'll do that. And I also feel like J Fashion stationery, but more in the I want physical ways to document our style, our personal style. So I was thinking more like guided journals and guided journals and like do you know the brand Knock Knock? They make notepads like this, make a
Mm.
decision and all this other stuff. And I feel like, oh, that'd be cool to have things like that, but for J Fashion. So, oh,
Mm.
my J Fashion pack list if you're traveling, like
Oh,
things to write down for that. Things for like, oh, I'm going to the meet tomorrow. What are some things that I should make sure I have ready before I go to this fashion meetup? So I know I have everything. Yeah, just like different things like
more
that.
personalized.
Yeah, yeah, more personal. And so I'm kind of like, I feel like that would be an interesting niche to create for myself and would go with like, oh, okay, I also have like comics and stuff if you're into comics and
Mm.
also have zines like and tell more like personal stories about and experiences being in J fashion and things and yeah.
Any dream collaborations? You
Wow.
can go as big as you want. You can, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to like think about like, oh, what would be really cool or I still like want to try to collaborate with 6% Doki Doki and so they have like a store in Japan and like Harajuku and then
Wow.
the designer for 6% he also does a lot of like art direction and stuff for Kawaii Monster Cafe. He did that restaurant, which is now being turned into a theme park, which is crazy. That's very recently been announced. And
Mm.
then he did a restaurant in New York, Sushi Delish. And then there's like another restaurant in Kyoto called Future Train. So it's just like, oh man, he's really cool. I've modeled for the brand before, like at a convention and
Oh,
stuff, and like I've been in like bumped into this designer at like these different events and stuff and gotten to speak to him. And so I just
that's
feel like, oh
awesome.
yeah, that would be so cool. And then there's like ACDC Rag, which is another like kind of Decora related, colorful brand and stuff. That would be really cool. But I just don't know what exactly, how exactly that would match up with me, like going into like comics and story and everything like that.
Oh,
I'm just like, oh, okay, like unless I made some sort of like comics poster or like, yeah, I don't know exactly how it would line up for us to work together. Also, like pro wrestlers would be really cool. I got to do
oh,
a t-shirt a while back for Maki Ito, which is a Japanese pro wrestler. But one of my other ideas was just like, oh, it'd be cool to like make like a four-panel comic of what like her her wrestling story is, like her gimmick or whatever. And
oh,
I was
I
just like,
looked her
oh, that
up.
would be
She looks
really cool.
awesome. That's
And
so
so I'm
cool.
just like, oh, I have this idea in my head to like just make these little short origin stories of different people and things, but it's just like, okay, what would that turn into materially? Like,
Mhm.
is that going to be a postcard? Am I pitching something? Yeah, what would that be printed on? Is that like a digital thing? I just want to do like, I don't know yet, but I have the idea in my head of like, yeah, maybe doing some illustrated like origin stories or something.
That's
Yeah.
really cool. And you've designed clothes for her before, you said?
Yes, I did one design. If it's still up there, it would be on her pro wrestling tee website. That was really cool. And I would love to, yeah, do more stuff with wrestlers and things because like I have a lot of like, oh, J fashion, but also like aggressively cute. So I
Uh-huh.
love um a tough like but cute heroine or something like that.
It matches like perfectly. That's so cute.
Yeah, yeah.
So much of your content is so unique to you,
Hmm.
but where do you find yourself pulling inspiration from?
Oh, okay. Part of like my inspiration is 90s like pop icons like TLC
Mm.
and Aaliyah. Like I really liked their fashion and styles, like Y2K fashion stuff. And then I like combining that with the Japanese alternative fashion of like Decora, but sometimes I also wear like Lolita and Garu or dabble in like the other styles as well, but I always bring like my colorfulness and like I like to make sure that I'm representing, I guess, who I am through like the way that I style my hair, like having braids and beads and afros and any of those sorts of like item like sorts of styling that's related to like the DNA of like who I am being a Black American. Let's see. Yeah, and then like pro wrestling. I really like pro wrestling. I like 90s cartoons, Powerpuff Girls, comics. There's different comics that I'm inspired by too. I write blog posts and stuff about that.
We're not quite done, but where can people find you and your work?
People can find me at, I have a link that leads to all of my links, allthings.harddecora.com. And so then that'll give you a link to the Discords that I host, to Kawaii Rebels Club in Chicago. My comic, it updates online on Webtoon and on my independent site. That also has my blog. Um, yeah, and then my shop.
Social media is something that is so mixed in with everything else nowadays,
Hmm.
and you have a pretty large following. Did you
Hmm.
start everything with that intent of being sort of like a content creator, or is it something that you kind of just fell into and had to adapt to?
Yeah, kind of just fell into. I
Mm.
definitely wasn't thinking I was gonna do that. Definitely didn't think I was gonna be like, oh, people are gonna follow you for your style or something. Like that's
Mm.
not what I thought was gonna happen. But like when I started selling clothes and then someone saw my booth at ASEN, talked to me about like, oh, you should sell with like Lolita with Lolita Collective or whatever. And I was just like, oh, okay. And so I started like going with them to things and like part of it was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna start getting more exposed to these styles and being like, oh okay, I'm wearing more of the styles and then like I'm taking pictures of me in my own clothes, like the clothes that I made. So I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, that's the only person that can reliably promote my clothes is me. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna take pictures of me in the clothes. And then it slowly started becoming more about like, yeah, like you and like the way that you wear it, or like I'm just like, oh, okay. So yeah, so I feel like that kind of became larger. And I also feel like my in real life connections created more followings and stuff like that. People being like, oh yeah, Kamilah, oh yeah, this person does this. And so I definitely feel like I do a lot of like networking, I guess, and building friendships and stuff. So yeah, so I feel like that's kind of how I got to that level of like, oh, okay, now you have this K of like, thousands of people on Instagram. But I also feel like we're in a changing landscape of like, how social media works. And so I don't know going forward how big social media is going to be a part of like my marketing. Yeah, I'm not really sure. At least the social medias that I currently have, like Instagram, being like the largest following. I might go into like doing more like YouTube, going more into that area and maybe being like a PNG tuber or something because just use more of like
Oh,
my
that's cool.
drawings and things. I feel like that would kind of be cool.
I didn't know that
Um,
was a thing. A PNG.
yeah,
Whoa,
that's what they
okay.
call it, a PNG tuber, or like some people do a a VTuber, but that's more like if you made like more of a little bit of a 3D person.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And so the PNG one is more like a 2D drawing. And then some people, they'll have like drawing a sped up video of them drawing in the background. And then you kind of have like a podcast where you're just talking about something over the video and everything like that. So that's kind of something that's really exciting to me. And I always want my marketing to be an extension of my art. So if Instagram isn't feeling like an extension, kind of feel like, like I don't think this is gonna work so
Mhm.
much going forward. But me thinking about like using my art and things with being a PNG tuber, I'm kind of like, oh, that sounds exciting to me, like something I'd actually would look forward to doing.
Do you have any tips, anything, advice that you just want to share with any readers before we go?
I guess community. Yeah, that's like key.
You
Like
got a
find,
very well hand in that, yes.
yeah,
From what
like
I've
find
heard.
like whatever you want to do, like whether that's like comics, illustration, clothing, whatever, find where that community is and join some of these little niche pockets and things and be involved. Like if they're having a craft party or oh we're figure drawing together or we're gonna go do some plein air drawing or something like that, like go to those events and just like try to implant yourself in the community and then you'll start running into different opportunities and stuff that you wouldn't have otherwise.
Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much, Kamila.
Yeah.
This is so good.